welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast, your home for local sports here in the 574. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Fight Sports Podcast. My name is Kenny Cramer. I am the host. We have a special edition for this episode. This is recorded on Friday, so all of the games you're going to be hearing, football games for high school, you're going to be hearing now, are going to happen tonight. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record yesterday to have this uploaded in time, but we're going to get it done, and we're going to get it out right away. So first off, some breaking news that actually just happened a couple minutes ago. Team USA for basketball lost to Germany 113-111 in the FIBA basketball tournament, and that was in, I believe, the semifinal round. So U.S. is out. Germany is going to the finals, I believe. So that just happened. Anyway, high school football games for week 4. All of these games are tonight. So first off, LaVille faces Winnemac tonight at Lancer Field. The Lancers lead the all-time series 12-2 and have won 7 straight against the Warriors. In those games, the Lancers are outscoring Winnemac 209-48, and that equals to just short of 30 points a game for LaVille and just short of 7 points a game for Winnemac. The Lancers come into the game ranked 3rd in 2A and are 3-0. That's 2-0 in the Hoosier North as well. LaVille has now won 13 of the last 14 games and holds an impressive 37-9 record in the last 5 years, and that is 14th best in the state, and that's just over an 80% win percentage, which is just crazy to think of where LaVille has come from to where they are now. Winnemac comes in with a record of 0-3, 0-2 in the Hoosier North, and has lost the last 5 games dating back to last year. This is all in part of Winnemac has had a brutal schedule to start off. I mean, their first 5 opponents, this is including LaVille, is 13-2. So Knox, Pioneer, Knox, North White, LaVille on their schedule. Those 3 teams are 3-0, and then North Judson and Pioneer are 2-1, which is just crazy. That is a brutal, brutal schedule. And then the rest of their schedule is fairly easy. They have the easier opponents of the Hoosier North, so they should be able to get some wins. But I mean, it's going to come in the last bit of the schedule. I mean, the first 5 games of this 9-game schedule, you've got ranked teams in their respective classes. I don't believe North White is ranked just yet. But North Judson, LaVille, Knox, Pioneer are all ranked in their respective classes. And Winnemac has had to tough it out. And I mean, I don't want to say there's never a chance they can win, but the odds of them winning one of these games is just slim to none. Again, there is a chance. You never know. Upsets do happen. I've seen crazier things, but I just don't see it, at least in this game. And the Warriors have struggled to score points as well. They're averaging just 4.7 points a game, and they've only scored 14 points all year so far, and that was against North White. And they lost 36-14. And this the kickoff for LaVille Winnemac is scheduled for 7:30. Go out. If you're a LaVille fan, go out, support them Lancers. My prediction for the game is LaVille 34, Winnemac 7. I think this is the game where LaVille finally scores over 30 points, but they don't get the running clock. The running clock only happens when a team is up 35 points. I believe it's going to be 34-0 going into the third quarter, and then maybe fourth quarter, maybe. But I think mop-up duty. I think the JV gets in and gets some good, solid minutes facing Winamax varsity. Moving on now, Penn plays host to Hammond Morton for the first time tonight at Everwise Freed Field on the campus of Penn High School. Kingsmen come into the game 2-1, ranked 14th in 6A, and are coming off a terrible performance against Indianapolis Cathedral, where they lost 35-6 and were down 35-0 at halftime. And they are looking to get back in the win column. This is the last non-conference game for Penn, as they will start the NIC East-West Division play next week against Elkhart, and that division is all the bigger schools. Also, this is, like I said before, this is a makeup game because either Cincinnati St. Xavier or Penn had to drop that game, and Penn had to do something else. They picked up Hammond Morton. So there we go. Morton is coming in with a record of 1-2 and lost last week at Rice Field against Elkhart, 48-38. And the Governors have gone 3-17 the last 3 years, counting this year thus far, and are looking to pull off the upset. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 over there in Mishawaka. My prediction: this game is not going to even be close. I have Penn winning 52-7. And then some other games around the area as well. Bremen comes in with a record of it's Bremen versus number 14 in 1A Triton. Both teams are 2-1, and this is the 54th meeting between the two schools. Bremen, however, leads the series 47-6. But Triton has the last laugh right now. Triton won last year 51-10. Another one, we have number 14 in 5A Concord, 2-1. At number 12, 6A Warsaw, 3-0. This is the 59th meeting between the two schools. And yeah, this is quite the rivalry. Concord leads the series 30-28. Warsaw, however, won last year 19-0. And this is the 44th consecutive meeting in this rivalry as well. Culver, that's Culver Community, by the way. Culver Community, 0-3 at West Central, 3-0. This is the 36th overall meeting between the two schools. Actually, this is the 37th meeting all time between the two schools. Series is tied at 18 apiece. However, Culver has won the last 9 and has outscored the Trojans in those games 345-102. And that is 38-11. That's what the math comes out to for both of those. Elkhart is traveling pretty far to play at number 6 in Ohio's high school athletic association, and the number 3 team in their division, which is Division 2. They're playing Massillon, Washington of Ohio, and they're 3-0. I fully expect Elkhart to get smashed in that game. I don't even think it's going to be close. Fairfield 2-1 is going down to Culver Academy, who's also 2-1. 14th meeting between the two schools. CMA leads the series 8-5. Last meeting, however, was in 2015, and the Eagles only won 24-21 at Oliver Field in Culver. Goshen 0-3 versus number 7 in 5A Mishawaka. They're 2-1. John Glenn at Jimtown. 59th meeting between the two schools. John Glenn comes in with a record of 2-1. Jimtown comes in with a record of 1-2. Jimtown, however, has owned Glenn in this series. The Jimmies lead the series 53-5. And since 1990, Jimtown is 31-1 against the Falcons. The last loss came in 2020 at John Glenn, 10-7. Also, Jimtown is coming off of scoring 75 points last week, and that was against Osceola Grace. The most points that Jimtown has scored that I have seen going back in their history is 88 points back in 1970 against John Glenn, and they won 88-6. 88-6. And that was like I said, most points scored in a game in Jimtown football history. And they've also scored 75 points now twice. The first time they scored 75 points was when they faced Howe Military. And Howe Military is now defunct, and that has been since 2013. When they played Howe Military back in 1972. And they won 75-0. And that's also their largest shutout in Jimtown football history. So we got most points scored in a game and largest shutout in a game for Jimtown as well. And I think Jimtown is going to have no problem with the Falcons tonight. LaPorte 1-2 at Chesterton 0-3. We have Manchester 2-1 at Rochester 2-1. 56th meeting between Old Three Rivers Conference rivals. Rochester leads the series 37-18. However, they haven't played since 2020, and Manchester won that matchup 41-14. And I say Old Three Rivers Conference rivals because, as I've said, and we've said on this podcast before, Rochester. Oh, no, they're not Old Three Rivers Conference rivals. Never mind, they are Three Rivers Conference rivals. Don't listen to me or listen to me, whichever one. Marion is at New Prairie. Marion comes in with a record of 1-2. New Prairie comes in with a record of 2-1. Number 6 in 1A, North Judson, 2-1 at number 18 3A Knox, 3-0. If you're in Stark County and you listen to this podcast, go to this game because this game is going to be a good one. It's going to be a doozy. This is the 77th meeting overall and the 74th edition of this rivalry in Stark County. This rivalry started back in 1949. North Judson, however, leads the series 53-23-2. Number 12, 4A Northridge versus 2-1 at number 5, 4A Northwood 3-0. This is the 53rd meeting between the two schools. Northwood owns the series, however, 44-8, and won 29 straight from 1989 to 2012. However, regular season-wise, Northwood may own the Raiders. The Raiders, however, have knocked out the Panthers in sectionals the last 2 years, and last year in sectional, Northridge won 34-17 at Northwood. This one should be a doozy tonight over there at Andrews Field in Napanee. If you want a good game to go to in northern Indiana, in this area, go to that game. It's going to be a doozy. Number 12, Pioneer, 2-1 at Caston, 0-3. Plymouth, 1-2 at Wawasee, 1-2. This is the 55th meeting between the two Northern Lakes Conference rivals. Plymouth leads the series 29-25. Wawasee, however, has kind of owned Plymouth. But that's also Plymouth's fault because Plymouth has been terrible the last couple of years. South Bend Riley 3-0 at South Bend Clay 0-3. This is the 52nd meeting between the two South Bend City rivals. Riley leads the series 31-20, and Riley is seeking their first 4-0 start since 1995. However, when they started 4-0, they only won 2 more games after that. They finished the season 2-3 and finished with the overall record of 6-3 in 95 as well. Then we have South Bend St. Joe at Adams. St. Joe comes in with a record of 2-1. Adams is 1-2. This is, however, only the 45th meeting between these two schools. St. Joe leads the series 29-16. Both of these teams did at one point claim Everwise Schoolfield as their home, but in 2012, South Bend St. Joe built a new high school in South Bend that also came with a football field where they can call their own home. However, Adams still is without a home field on their campus. They just use Schoolfield as their home. And now these two schools are only separated by 1.7 miles. So I wouldn't say it's called the backyard brawl, but it's pretty darn close to the backyard brawl between these two schools. And it's not really a heated rivalry. But I mean, they're so close where you can kind of say that. But I mean, it's not really a rivalry. That's why I didn't call this one a rivalry. But you know, it has that feeling of a rivalry game. Both teams are close to each other. To wrap up the last 2 games here, South Bend Washington 0-3 at Calumet 1-2. And then Tipton 1-2 at Tippecanoe Valley 3-0. This is the first meeting between these two schools. And then now we have some games around the state, and there are a lot of games around the state that have caught my attention tonight. First off, number 9 in 5A, Bloomington North 3-0 at number 2 in 5A, Bloomington South 3-0. This is the Battle of Bloomington. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't know what the rivalry's called. I'm guessing both of these two schools are rivals. It's kind of hard to find out information about teams down in southern and central Indiana. It's easy to find out information up here, but finding out information about that is just kind of hard. Some other games here, number 12 in Ohio and number 6 in Division I in Ohio, Cincinnati Moeller 3-0. No, that's not right. They're 1-2. Cincinnati Moeller's 1-2 at Center Grove 2-1. This game's gonna be a doozy over there. The Cincinnati Moeller is not 3-0. They are 1-2. Number 14 in 5A, Evansville North 2-1 at number 3 4A, Evansville Rights 3-0. This is going to be a good one down in Evansville. If you happen to listen down in Evansville, go to that game because I think that one's going to be really, really good. It's close. The series, if I have seen correctly, is fairly close. I think Rights has the upper hand in that series, though. Number 7 in 4A, Greenfield Central 3-0 at number 15 4A, Pendleton Heights 3-0. That's going to be a good one down there. That's close to Fortville. If you're in that area over there, go to that game. Number 4 in 6A, Hamilton Southeastern 3-0 at number 6A, Fishers 3-0. If you're in the northern Indianapolis area, this one is going to be the game that you would want to go to. However, there are some other good ones down there in Indianapolis, too, that you can go to. Then we got Hammond Central 3-0 at Highland 2-1. Heritage 3-0 at number 11 1A South Adams 2-1. Number 12 in 2A Heritage Christian 2-1 at number 15 in 2A Eastern Hancock 2-1. Probably the game of all games tonight, most likely, I would say, is number 4 in the country and number 1 in Florida, IMG Academy 2-0 at number 1 in 6A Ben Davis 3-0. This is going to be the test for Ben Davis. I highly expect if Ben Davis wins this game, they are going to be ranked in the top 25 in the country. However, if they don't, they're not, obviously. I fully expect if IMG beats Ben Davis, they probably will almost go up to number 1. I don't know for sure. I don't know how those rankings are done. Those rankings are on Max Preps. That's where I get those. Moving on here, we got number 1 in 3A, Indianapolis Bishop Chatard, 3-0 at number 5, 6A, Indianapolis Cathedral, 2-1. This is the 49th meeting between the two schools. Cathedral leads the series 29-19. This is the, I would say, the Holy War right there. If you're in the Indianapolis area and you don't want to go to Ben Davis and to Fishers, Cathedral's where you go. That game will be played at Arlington High School down there in Indianapolis. That's where Cathedral plays their home games. Number 14 in 4A, Mississinewa, 3-0 at number 10, 3A, Oak Hill, 3-0. That should be a good one. Number 19, 3A, Monrovia, 3-0 at number 4, Triton Central. That's 2A, 2-1. Noblesville, 2-1 at number 7, 6A, Westfield, 3-0. And then to wrap up, Zionsville 2-1 at number 15, 6A, Franklin Central, 2-1. That wraps up all of the high school games for tonight. And then tomorrow we have Notre Dame football. So number 10, Notre Dame versus North Carolina State. Notre Dame comes in a 7.5-point favorite over the Wolfpack. So the 10th seeded Fighting Irish travel to Raleigh to take on NC State for just the 4th time. NC State leads the series, however, 2-1. But the Irish have the last win in the series coming back in 2017 when Notre Dame crushed the Wolfpack 35-14. QB Sam Hartman for the Irish is looking to continue his impressive start and finally tame the Wolfpack down there in Raleigh. The weather is looking like it's going to be rainy and almost like it was back in 2016 when the Irish went down there, played in hurricane-like conditions, ended up just throwing the ball around the yard for some stupid reason and lost the game 10-3. I fully expect the running game for the Irish to be in full and just run the dang ball all day long. And so look for the Irish to run the ball on the ground with Estime and company and move to 3-0. Kickoff is scheduled for noon down there in Raleigh, and I have the Irish winning 42-17. I don't see this game being close at all. And so with that, that's all we got here. So for Kenny Cramer and, well, nobody else because there's no one here. Have a good day.
Hey guys, it's Kenny, host of The Good Fight. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to hear more, you can check out our website at thelugnutspodcastgroup.com for all information related to the podcast and where to listen to us. You can also follow the Patreon page for exclusive benefits for the show. Join us next time for The Good Fight.